There was a wonderful tinkle of music and a shower of sparks. In the place of pumpkin stood a beautiful golden coach. Cinderella gasped, "You really can do magic." "Yes," said Felicity, "and this is just the beginning. Now, where's your mousetrap?" "Under the sink," said Cinderella. Felicity peered in. "Meets my one fat rat, all alive." "Excellent. Open the mousetrap door, Cinderella." Kazam! As each of the mice came out, Felicity gave them a little tap with her wand. One by one, the mice were transformed into fine white horses. The rats became a rosy-cheeked coachman with very large whiskers. "Now I need 6 lizards," said Felicity. I expect there'll be some behind your watering can." "There are," said Cinderella, handing them to her good mother. In a flash, the lizards became footmen. "At your servants, Cinderella." They were dressed in glistening green and looked as if they'd been footmen all their lives. "There you are, Cinderella," said Felicity, sounding rather pleased with herself. "Now you can go to the ball." "I'll be off now." "But I can't go in these rags," Cinderella cried out. Felicity touched Cinderella with her wand. A moment later, her rags turned into a dazzling dress of gold and silver. On her feet was a perfect pair of little glass slippers. "There's just one problem," said Felicity. "You must leave before 12. On the last stroke of midnight, my magic will begin to fade." "I promise," Cinderella replied, climbing into the coach. "And thank you so much," she called, as the horses swept her away. Chapter 4. At the ball. When Cinderella entered the ballroom, everyone fell silent. Then slowly a whisper went around the room. "Who can she be?" "Who's that beautiful girl?" the ladies wondered. "She must be a princess." A voice next to Cinderella almost made her jump. It was the prince. "May I have this dance?" he asked. Cinderella and the prince trotted across the floor. "She's so graceful," said the other ladies. "And look at her dress. Have you ever seen anything so delicate?" "Ignore her. The prince is only being polite," said Grimella. "He'd much rather dance with me." Cinderella was enjoying herself so much, she forgot to watch her time. As the prince whirled her around the room, he caught sight of the clock. "The time! Oh no!" she said. "It's almost midnight. I must go." Cinderella pulled away from the prince and ran across the dance floor. The prince raced after her. "Come back!" he called. "I don't even know your name." But Cinderella has disappeared into the darkness. "Have you ever seen a girl in a gold and silver dress?" the prince asked the palace god. "No," said the god. "A girl ran past a moment ago, but she was dressed in red. I've lost her." The prince turned back the palace with a sign. Then something on her steps caught his eye. "Her glass slippers!" she cried. Chapter 5. The Glass Slipper. Cinderella ran home as fast as she could. She arrived just before her stepsisters. "How was the ball?" Cinderella asked. "It was very grand," said Griselda. "Far too grand for the likes of you. I'm sure the prince is in love with me." Cinderella smiled, but she said nothing. The next morning, the entire street was woken by the shouts of a town crier, who was allowed by a messenger. "By the order of His Royal Highness the Prince, every girl in the kingdom must try on this glass slipper. The prince will marry its true owner." Cinderella's stepmother flung open the front door and grabbed the messenger. "One of my girls will fit this shoe," she said proudly, "and then I'll be queen." Griselda couldn't even fit her big toe in the shoe. She pushed until the foot was bright red. "You stupid girl! Give it to me!" shouted Grimella, and snatched the glass slipper from her sister. Grimella rammed off the foot in the shoe, but then it got stuck. "Squeeze, Grimella!" shrieked her mother. "You're not trying hard enough." "I'm trying as hard as I can, Mama," said Grimella with a grunt. "Ow! You useless child!" cried her mother. She ventured the slipper of Grimella's foot and flung it at the messenger. "Off you go then!" she snapped. The messenger cleared his throat. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said, "but my strict orders are that every young lady is to try on the shoe." She looked differently at Cinderella. "What about this girl?" "What?" said Grimella. "She's just a servant. You needn't bother with her." Cinderella's father caught. "Actually," he began. "Shut up, you stupid man!" interrupted the stepmother. "Cinderella had as much right to try on the slipper as everyone," he went on bravely. "Oh, Papa," said Cinderella. She walked over to the messenger and slipped on the shoe. It was perfect fit. "No!" shrieked Griselda and Grimella. "She can't be a princess!" shouted their mother. "I won't allow it. This is all your fault. Get out!" she screamed at the messenger. "I want you to pretend this never happened." With one swift movement, the messenger swept off his hat and cloak. Everyone in the room gasped. It was the prince. "You?" He strode over to Cinderella. "I would have searched my kingdom for you," he said. "Will you marry me?" Cinderella smiled. "Oh, yes," she replied. At that moment, there was a puff of smoke and Felicity flew into the room. She held her wand above her head and starry mist twirled around them all. "Time for a little more magic," she declared. Felicity flicked her wand and gave Cinderella a dress even more beautiful than the one she had worn to the ball. "Thank you, my princess," said the prince, and swept Cinderella off to his palace. Cinderella and the prince were married the very next day and lived happily ever after. Griselda and Grimella were not so happy. "We want to marry the prince! We want to marry the prince!" Their mothers never stopped scolding them. "It's all your fault for having such big feet," she told them.